Howdy folks, Kevin here. Let's do a live stream. Thanks for waiting while I ate breakfast. I spent the morning, I played soccer this morning, which is good because I need the exercise, and then did some grocery shopping, and then when I got back, the kids were kind of fussy, so I made them a slip and slide in the backyard, and by the time I was finished with that, it was like noon, and I hadn't had anything to eat, and so I knew I needed some food in my belly before I got started. Gotta be happy about it. Okay, so we're gonna start off. I did the title of this is testing profile pages, but we did have a question about awaiting, about a full page screenshot, and I think what the issue was. There is the screenshot command, and let me tell you, one of the things that I'm not crazy about with this search is that it's pretty limited. So if you do like screenshots, it only gives you a few results, and it doesn't weight the results by the better ones. Let me know if you're seeing any buffering, because it says that the stream is kind of a little slow. So poor. Let me try turning off my Wi-Fi. Hopefully that doesn't completely disconnect everything. And then in the meantime, hopefully that picks back up. No reason it should be having any troubles. It's the same thing I do every time. Unless I have Docker going. No, I don't have Docker running. I don't have anything special running. Should be running fine. Who knows what causes it to do the things it does. And let's see. CPU's good. I don't know. I don't know why it's telling me that. Let me know if you're having any issues with it. So we're talking about like that screenshot. There is a save screenshot. So see how I typed in screenshot? And it doesn't have save screenshot in the results because it's limited in results. It only shows like the top 4 results or top 5 results. And for some reason browser is at the bottom of those results, so keep that in mind if you're searching on that. And if you're looking for something to do, this would be a great addition. I tried looking into it. There's some search settings in the way that the website's built out that defines the results and everything. So I would really like to see that improved, because there's a few things that can cause trouble. Like here you have click, but it doesn't actually have the very, very useful click command. It has all these other commands. So yeah, that's just thoughts on that. So let's take a look at save screenshot. So I think what's going on in the question that we had. Good. Sometimes I turn my microphone off when I'm getting ready, and then I forget to turn it back on, and that would not be great. Make sure my microphone's coming through the right one, because I've done many streams before when the microphone isn't going through the right one. Nope, it's going through the right one. Great. Okay. We have the save screenshot, and let's write a test using Webdriverio. For those, if you're not familiar with what this channel covers or anything, Webdriverio is a automated test framework. So we're going to, what do we even do the whole thing? Let's create the whole thing. So I'll make a directory. I'll call it screenshot test, and then we'll move into there. Make that a little bit bigger for you. And then now I'm going to do npm init. This is my usual start with Webdriverio. Multi-remote testing would be great. Yes. I've done some videos on multi-remote testing in the past, but I think that was version 4, and I haven't gotten back to it yet. Now I'm going to install the Webdriverio command line interface. Let's see if I can add multi-remote testing, because that's always a good thing just to go through again. It's been a while since I've done that. I have a list of, what do I have a list of? Video topics. There we go. Okay. One problem with this is that you end up just wasting your time waiting for it to install. So it'd be nice if I had a directory already ready to go, but I don't, because I found when you copy and paste directories that have node modules installed already, then it will not copy it over correctly. Like the references get messed up or something. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know why it's so slow. My internet's really good at this time. So how are y'all doing? Y'all doing good? It's a good day out there. Thanks for hanging out in chat. It's a nice day up here where I'm at. It still says the stream is poor. Let me know if it's jumpy or anything. Maybe if I pause my video, maybe that'll help a little bit. Open the widget. Error. No. It is. Oh, it does look like it's super slow. That's not good. Encoder overloaded. Turned on video settings. Okay. I just feel like I should be able to start with the same settings that I had the last time, and it should work fine when you go for a stream. For some reason, that's just impossible. Maybe there's a website that I've opened that's killing it. I can quit a few items. Should do a live stream on how to mess up live streams every time you try to do a live stream. I made a joke with a buddy a long time ago about there should be a conference for like people who just like general conferences and how they go. Looks like it might be speeding up again. No. I'm at 5 frames per second. If I move really fast, it's gonna be super jumpy. I did turn down light. So the joke is, you're gonna, well, I don't want to tell the joke if it's super laggy. Oh man. Okay. Let's see if it picks back up now that this npm install is done. No. There's a process that's not responding that I'm trying to quit. Quit you. Quit you. Close all the things. See, YouTube's still complaining. Yeah, the npm install took forever to run. Oh man, glad y'all stick around for this because it's not fun on my side. It's just to deal with it again and again and again. Okay, what is that? There's nothing that's eating up my memory too much. That should be fine. I mean, there's OBS, but that's what OBS does. I might stop streaming for a minute and then start back up to see if I can do better. So I'll be back in just a minute. It was funny. As soon as I hit to turn off the streaming, it said that the stream was healthy again. So I adjusted my settings. Hopefully it does better this time. Looks like the numbers are a little bit better. Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so I've got Webdriverio installed. Now I'm going to run the config. So npx wdio config. Yeah, let's run through it. I was going to enter the defaults, but dude, it is running so slow. Okay, where do I want to test? Let's do local machine, Mocha, synchronous. Keep those. No, I don't want it to do that. Good. Yeah. Let's use the Webdriver homepage. Okay, let me know if that's any better, because it says that it's better on my side, but I also look at my, I have in OBS, I have frames per second, and it's looking pretty low. So, I don't know. We'll see what's going on. By the way, I have like 4 different drinks out right now. I've got cold brew coffee, I've got hot tea, I've got kombucha, homemade kombucha, and then I've got water, and also a little something for at the end of the stream. So this is some weird part about me, is that I need like 50 different drinks, and I don't like drink just one drink at a time. Switch it up and everything. Oh, this npm install is running really slow. Okay, it says the stream's healthy, so let's tell that joke. It was basically, we're gonna have a conference that's just like the we're gonna call it no conf, I think, and the way it goes is every presentation is just like the first 5 minutes of awkwardness during a presentation, where everybody's trying to get set up and like the projector doesn't work, and then they're like, oh, is this on? Okay, just hold on for a minute while I got to get the projector. Is that it? And then, you ask, do you need sound for it? Oh, no, I don't need sound, no. And so you just do that for about 5 or 10 minutes until everything gets set up finally, and it's all working, and the audience starts clapping because they're finally happy, and then the presenter just goes, okay, thanks for coming to my presentation. Let me know if you have any questions. And like, that's it. You just do that again, and then you have, yeah. So it's just a conference about all the common fun of what conferences or do. It's a really dumb idea, but okay. And I just opened a program that I didn't want to open up. And so it's going to open up at some point. It's going to take a long time to open, and we'll see when that pops up. Okay, so I'm going to open up a new file, specs, and no, it's test/specs, and we'll call it screenshot.js. And if anybody wants to buy me a new computer, that'd be fun. Okay, now we're gonna just write a basic test. We'll do describe. I used to have a auto expander that would do this for me. It should take a full page screenshot. And what I want to do is just kind of demonstrate what I think the issue is. Got to get those semicolons in there. And let's make the text a wee bit bigger. Okay, so we're just going to do browser.url. We'll load the home page just through there. Then we'll do browser.save screenshot. And we'll call it homepage.png. If we come back over here, so it's going to take a screenshot of this page. Go to API. And back to that save screenshot. And path to generated file, PNG is required. That's what I was looking for. I think this is going to save it in this directory, not in the specs directory. What? Oh, it didn't make the directory, so I needed to make the directory. I think I expected it to make the directory, but it didn't, because I didn't ask it to make the common files, the starter files. Okay, now I've got that placed. We can run our test. Nice. Oh, and I can close Activity Monitor. Did you ever notice when you open an Activity Monitor on a Mac, it takes up like 15% of your resources? And so you open it up because everything's running slowly, and then now that it's opened, everything runs even slower. Title must be a string. What? What? Ah. I forgot to put the title of the test in there. I wonder how often that happens. I haven't seen that too often. That's like the first time I've made that mistake, because I don't know. It's just not because I'm good or anything, just because I haven't made that mistake before for some reason. Probably not a common mistake to make. Not a super helpful message. Sweet argument title must be a string. Receive type. I mean, yeah, if you're paying attention, it makes sense. Okay. Now we're loading the page. Everything's still running super slow, even though all my connection is good. Oh man, that is slow. I think I might switch over to using a local server, because that's ridiculous. Okay, what local server do I have that's easy to run? I know. Oof. My 91%. Okay. Stop. We know you failed. Also, I need to try a different encoder. Yeah, it is. Everything is running. So, like, what's going on here? Try it again. There we go. Nope. Normally, terminals don't take 5 minutes to open up. Come on. Come on. Why are you dying? You crazy, crazy thing. I can close you. Trying to close everything that I can. What? There. That's weird. So I've got a static site here, and if we go to it, there we go. It's just the landing page for my newsletter. If you want to sign up for the front-end testing weekly newsletter, you see it's just me giving a brief intro, going over with one story to talk about, and then some thoughts on that story, and that's it. That's all. So you can actually go to newsletter.frontendtesting.com and go there. I just wanted to use it for this example. Yes, my system does need some coffee. I agree. Okay, now we're going to leave that running. Open up the configuration file and go to base URL and change that base URL to use localhost. Come back here and run the test again, and it should work. Maybe I will pour some of this coffee on my MacBook. I hear they like it when you do that. Come on. Well, that was a good stream. I think I might try a different video encoder, because I'm using the hardware encoder, and maybe that is just not a good idea. I'm looking up the best encoding because what the heck is going on? One thing I can try doing is not using Chrome driver and just using Chrome DevTools. That might make it a little bit faster. Reading about well, that's basically not very helpful. Reading about the different encoders. Okay, so now it's stuck. If I hit that, that would be great, but it actually still has the Chrome driver service still running. It still has that Chrome window still open. And so that's causing things to be slow. You can do ps.aux grep Chrome driver, I think. No, maybe just Chrome. Yeah, so there's a few of these running and they shouldn't be. No, that's my personal browser. And that one, do I have it? I do. Let's quit that. Oh, I had that running in the background. Oh, shoot. Okay. Is it a Mac specific issue? It's a fact that I'm using my laptop and just my laptop to do this. That's the issue. Let me see something. No. I thought maybe I have my chroma key running. Hold on while I mess with a few settings. Okay, that might be a little bit better. Okay, I'm gonna stop streaming for a minute and then I'll be back in just a second. Let's see how this works. CPU is going back up at 90%. I really would like that to be like at 75%. And it says the encoding is overloaded. I'm going to try another encoder. Hold on. Is that doing any better? Says the CPU is better. Okay. I'm gonna go. Okay. Trying one more time. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. This has been a very, very messy stream, and I don't know why. It's because I was slow to start. But Okay, so the question was, I think instead of the viewport, did you want the whole browser window? So I don't know if you can do that. But one thing that I wasn't expecting that did happen with this was it did take the full page screenshot, even though it shouldn't fit. Yeah, see how it's cut off? It shouldn't fit, so it was able to take the whole screenshot. Now, did it do that because it's on using Chrome or using DevTools instead of Chrome Driver? Well, let's try that out. And let's see if I can get this to run using Chrome Driver. Maybe I just haven't shut enough programs down. Where's the window? What in the world? Why is it? Can't even handle Chrome Driver. I swear. I don't know what's going on. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay. So I took the screenshot again. Now I can do open, what was that, homepage? Ah, this is kind of what I was wondering. So yeah, in Chrome, I don't know if you noticed that difference. So when I was running without the Chrome Driver service, so this was using the DevTools service, aka Puppeteer. Let's go back here. So it says initiate new session using the DevTools protocol. And it says connect Puppeteer with a browser. So if you have Chrome installed, you don't have to have Chrome Driver. When I have the Chrome Driver service turned on, it uses Chrome Driver instead. So if we scroll down to our other test, initiate a new session using the Webdriver protocol, which Webdriver, and that's what Chrome Driver uses behind the scenes. And then it uses, it opens up a Chrome instance itself. There's a process name called deleted. Why do I have a process name called deleted? What does that even mean? It's taking up 30% of my CPU. Then there's a deleted helper. What? What? Why do I have a Redis server running? That's weird. I know why I have a Redis server running, but I haven't used Redis in ages. I was hoping that deleted would knock that down. Okay. So yeah, this is more of what I was expecting. See how at the bottom of this screenshot it's cut off? Question is, how do we, instead of having just the viewport, so the viewport, if we go to that page, the viewport is what you can see. So all this at the bottom is outside of the viewport, and that's what's the trouble. Okay, so how do we take a full page screenshot? Well, one is you use Chrome DevTools instead of Chrome Driver. I think IE also does the same thing. So there's a little bit of browser incompatibility where in some browsers it will take the entire page. Let's see if they talk about that in here. Yeah, this just says of the viewport. What you would have to do if the browser doesn't take the full page screenshot, the full website screenshot from top to bottom, you can take so you take a screenshot, you scroll down, then you take another screenshot and you scroll down. That's an option, but that's not a fun option because you have to code all that in. There's the visual regression testing service, and image comparison service. That's funny. Okay. And this uses two things. If we go over here, in the dependencies, I believe there was another tool that did that stitching for you. Webdriver image comparison. It's the question. In Puppeteer, we take longer one screenshot. Yeah, it takes the whole page for you, so you don't have to worry about this. But if you aren't able to use Puppeteer, because Puppeteer and DevTools, which are kind of the same thing, DevTools is a protocol, Puppeteer is a framework that builds on that protocol. Anyway, it will take the full page screenshot. And like I said, it just depends on the browser that you're running this in, whether it takes a full page screenshot or not. Okay, so there was a visual regression testing service that relies on the Webdriver image comparison service. And it looks like there's not much in here, but I think that this might depend on canvas chalk. Oh, darn it. I was hoping that this depended on something. It must have been a while back that maybe, I feel like it was in version 5. Let's go to npm and we're gonna see if we can find the service that I was thinking of. Basically, it was an image service, so it wasn't an image comparison service. It was just for taking screenshots. No. There's that. There's that. Looks promising, but yeah, see, that was from 2 years ago. Their screenshot version 5. This might have been it. Okay, so we got a lot of results to go through. This is on version 5.3. I don't know if it works with 6. I don't think this is what we want. This is more of a comparison service. You know, there is another service that does a recording service. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, maybe it was the video reporter. It was a reporter, not a service. Video reporter. So this doesn't take the full screen though. As you can see, it's scrolling around here. So that's not gonna do it. Webdriver.io, document screenshot. Let's take a quick look at this. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. Aww. And that's the way it goes. Document. Screenshot. Service. Okay, they must have stopped supporting it. There goes that. Webdriver.io screenshot. Save document screenshot. This is the one I was thinking about. Well, version 5. I bet this one is extended off of this one. Yeah, I'll accept your cookies. Don't worry. Looks like the stream's doing a little bit better, so that's good. Let me check. Yeah, OBS isn't yelling at me anymore. Still way too many processes running. Okay. Webdriverio screenshot port to version 5. Yeah, so this must have been, this one must have been written for version 4 because it was in 2016. If we go to the package JSON and we look for Webdriverio version 4, yeah, that was way back when my course was up to date. I remember those days. So this one is for version 5. That's good. And it adds a few commands. Save document screenshot. And if we go to source, what we're going to do is look through those commands real quick to kind of show you how it was run. I'm not going to spend much more time on it, but make document screenshot. Okay, can I can't. It's a module. There we go. I just want to kind of show you how this works. Screen dimensions. So it gets the screen dimensions. I don't know what a screen dimension is. It will take a screenshot of the area. Make area screenshot. After screenshot. So this hides the scroll bars and everything. Gets the screen dimensions. Browser. What does make area screenshot come from?
You're watching you.
Make area screenshot. My kids are talking
Daddy?
to me.
Daddy. Daddy?
Oh
You're
man,
watching
hold on a
you
minute.
live. Is that crazy?
Jeez. So I want to put in a wall with a door, because right now it's not. It's just a big curtain, and that's too easy for them to yell past. Okay, so let's see what make area screenshot does. It will get the screen dimensions again. I don't know what that does. They're so happy to see me talking live. Hi, kiddos. Get the strategy. I don't know what that does. Screenshot strategy manager. Okay. Trying to find is it takes the screenshot, stores it, screenshot promises, and I just want to see how it stitches it together. Yeah, there's a merge images function that comes from the utils / images. Man, running down these rabbit holes of things. Merge images from Graphics Magic. So Graphics Magic must have a Graphics Magic is a non-WebDriver IO tool that I think has an npm JS library that's being used, and it's super powerful image manipulation. And yeah, create a composite image by combining several separate images. So basically what this tool will do, what Webdriverio version 5 screenshot, not that one, this one will do, is it, let me make sure I didn't unplug my, okay. Sometimes when I bump my microphone, it can unplug it. So it takes the first section of the page, takes a screenshot, scrolls down the page, takes a screenshot, scrolls down the page, takes a screenshot, and then it merges them all together under one screenshot. So that's where I'm going to leave this, is basically you can use Chrome Driver, not Chrome Driver, DevTools or Puppeteer for Chrome if all you want to do is test on Chrome. I believe IE or maybe even Microsoft Edge also does the same thing. Otherwise, you're going to need something like this. And I don't think that this has been ported to version 6, but it should work with version 5 if you're on version 5. If not, you could probably port it to version 6 if you really want to. It probably would work. So you just have to kind of manage that. And then you also have to have Graphics Magic installed, which is... it's got its own requirements, so you might need to worry about that. Oh, I made it through. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question, and I can move on to the next bit, which is what we all came here for. What I came here for. Working on this profile page. I want to get it done. So basically, if I click on a user... Oh, yeah. I have a profile page, and in my book, I have a set of tests that I've started writing, basically to build out how to test profile page stuff. And we're almost done. I was working on this last stream, I think. And then there were a couple more items. 2 tabs are shown: my articles and favorite articles, my articles, favorited articles. Content of those tabs is correct. So this one, I should have a single article for that user. And then for the other one, it should have no articles. It's up to you whether you want to write the API code to have a favorited article. I don't. So let's just do it should show my articles. Whoops. Come on. There we go. I'm gonna full screen this. Oops. When you see me type that, that's my key, my hotkey for doing full screen on a window. But I have that program turned off because I basically shut down everything just to make this stupid thing work. So that's why that's why it's not handling it and just giving me that F. Okay, so our tests so far in our before function, what it will do is it creates a profile object using a random email generated password and a username using chance.js. It will create the profile based off of that object. So this is using an API call. This API I think it's using Axios or GOT. I think it's using GOT, which is a HTTP request builder. If I go to utils, oh no, here. Can I jump into? Okay, so it is using GOT, and it just makes API calls. So here we can call create profile. You see it posts to the user's endpoint, and it passes in the profile JSON that we want, and it returns the user. So with the profile created, we next want to create a new article for the user. So again, we create an article object, and this is our fixture in a way. Then we post that to the article endpoint. We log in for just a random user or just any user. Then we create a new profile page object. So let's no. Open up our page object. Page objects profile. And as you can see, here we have a JavaScript class that extends a generic page. I define a constructor that will basically build a URL based off of that username. So if I jump back to my page, you can see the URL is the @ plus the username. So this username comes from the profile username defined here. So I create a page object on the fly in my before hook. That's profile page, and now I can call it to load. So it's going to load on this page. The load calls the generic load function, which just calls browser.url. Then at the end, we want it to wait. If we reload this page, you can see it says loading articles. It said loading articles there for a second. We want to wait for that loading articles to disappear. So we wait for the current feed to load. Okay, now I've got a feeds page, a feeds component, which is this feeds. And yeah, that's what we want to do. Let's look at that feeds component because that's what we're going to use. So our feeds component has active feed tab text, feed tabs text. So what we're going to do is we're going to expect profile page dot feeds dot feed tabs text to equal an array, and the array is going to be my articles, and then with favorite articles. I'm going to do another assertion here. We're going to check that the active feed tabs text, which is going to be an array of items, is just going to be my articles. And I talk about this a bit in my book, the Web App Testing Guidebook, about why I chose to return an array instead of just the active feed tab. So the active feed tab is this tab that's active. And the reason for returning an array is we could have a state of the website where it's a broken state, but inspect, close, where there's multiple active feeds. And that would not be good. Where are you? Here we are. So I'll show you router link exact active. So I could just put there. See how they're both active? That would be a broken state. And so what our test does is checks that, we jump back over there. If there are multiple active tabs, this would catch that. Whereas if we only got the first active tab, that this would still pass even though there were multiple active tabs. Okay, let's run this. I'm going to do an it.only. Come back here, go over to my book examples, npxwdio, and I'm going to do my spec to just run the profile page. And let's see how this runs now that things have kind of settled down. It is using Chrome driver, so looks like it's running a little bit quicker. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Expected 4, received 1. Received to equal expected. So that was the expected, and what I got was nothing. A whole lot of nothing. So it was this first one that was the problem. Feed tabs text. I bet what's going on. Aha. So this is looking for a data QA type of feed tab, but instead what I have is a data QA type of profile tab and profile tabs. QA type feed tabs. In this scenario, and the reason we have feed tab is if we go back to the home page, and if that doesn't take too long to load, we also have tabs here, and they're called your feed and global feed. This one is This one is my articles and favorite articles, so I guess it's not really feed. You see here's the data QA ID of feed tabs, data QA type of feed tab. So that's where that selector comes from. Reduce that text just a little bit. One more. So that's annoying to have multiple. There's a couple things we can do. The one I'm going to go with is you can have multiple selectors. And so in this case, it's going to be called profile tab because that's what it was named, right? It was named profile tab. Yeah, profile tab. And then I'll do the same thing here, even though that's annoying. The other thing I could do is actually edit the HTML for this page to change this over to be feed tab instead of profile tab. But another thing I could do is when I define a feeds, see how I pass in a selector here? This gets passed to the component, and it gets stored under this dot selector. So I can kind of define that. I could pass in another argument that would basically be the name of this, or the selector for the tab itself. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go the easier route and just add multiple of those. And let's try running this again. Hopefully the stream is a bit better now. And oh, my leg just cramped. You almost saw me in a lot of pain. That's the problem with playing soccer, is my legs cramp real bad. Which reminds me I should take my magnesium, because that's supposed to help with leg cramps. Oh, and it's just, it could be in the middle of the night. I could be asleep and just hits me and I wake up and my leg is just completely cramping and it's super painful. And the problem with the cramp is that in order to get past it, you have to, your muscle is trying to contract super tight, and in order to get rid of it, you have to stretch it back out to make your muscle kind of relax. And so if like, say this is my leg, so this is my upper leg and my lower leg, it's my hamstring that cramps, and so it wants to close in because it's what's the not compressed, but that's the state that it wants to be in the cramp. And so I have to stretch my leg out, even though my muscle is trying its hardest to close in. It's a great feeling, great feeling. Okay, so now I have my test running. Because of that, I'm going to move this over there. So let's say check that the tabs are correct. Check that the content for the My Articles tab is correct. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the content of the My Articles tab. So that's the current feed. And you can see this actually returns a new feed, which is another component. And this type of nesting of components is something that I do pretty often. And so I have a profile page that has a feeds component that has a feed component. And it kind of keeps on going down until you get, feed is just there. But it makes it really easy to kind of compose pages together. So I like that. Check the content of the minor. So I'm going to expect that the profile page.feeds.current feed, we come back here, current feed dot articles. Let's let's first check that there's only one article. So I'm going to do this double dollar sign returns a array of articles. So if I jump back to my page here, scroll down, we have an article list, and then we have an article preview. If I had multiple articles, it would have multiple divs with a class or a QA type of article preview. So that's what that does. And then articles takes that array of all those articles and returns new page components called article previews. So yeah, the feed component has an article preview component. I forgot that it just kept going further and further down. So first thing we're going to check is that the length is correct. And to do that, I'm going to come back over to the Webdriverio API. And I'm going to go to the assert page. While I take my magnesium. And there is a to be elements array of size. I'm going to actually say to have children. That's a little bit nicer. So I'm going to expect that to have children of 1. So basically I want to assert that it has a single article in it. And then the next thing I'm going to do, because it should only show one article because this user only has one article. The next thing I'm going to do is get the articles. And I'm going to get the first one. And the article preview has a get details function on it. And it returns the details of that article, which should match up to the details of the article we created. Okay, so because this is getting kind of long, like I could leave it in here, but I'm gonna store this const article details, that whole thing, and this is just gonna be a to equal, and maybe it won't be a to equal. So to equal is part of the expect.js, which assertion library, which is not the same thing as the expect Webdriverio library. And the main reason is that expect Webdriverio extends off of expect.js. So if I come back here to the assertion library, you see it has jest matchers. That's what we're going to use, and we're going to compare objects. Comparing objects is not the most fun, but it is possible. I just have to get to the right page. So there's to-have property, and okay, so what's going on here is, I don't know if you've noticed, but my article details is only 3 items, whereas my get details is 5 items. Article response, though, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out article response, and I'm going to log out article details, and let's compare those two. So I'm going to just pop that over like that. I'm going to comment that out so it doesn't even worry about running that assertion, and then it's going to run the test itself. And there we go. Anybody have questions for the next stream? Please throw them in the chat. I'm always open to your questions. They kind of help give me some good topics. I have plenty of topics to cover, but yeah. So you see that there was the generated content. That was all kind of crazy. So here we go. We have the article response. So this is the response from the API. It actually has a lot of items in it. It's got the slug for the article. So this is the URL that it would be. Title, description, body, when it was created, when it was updated, things like that. And then there is a little bit of a difference here. So see how it's got the created at and updated at? That's in, what's that, UTC timestamp or something? And then this date is just a formatted date that is shown on the website. So this comes from the website, and this comes from the API. So that's why it's stored in the less human-friendly but more computer-friendly format. Okay. So we're going to do a few assertions. And what I was going to do, and I might not do that anymore, was I going to do something like to equal what was I going to do? So we can't do that because those are definitely not equal. One looks like this, the other looks like that. So that's not going to work. There is a object containing expect matches any received object. That wasn't it. There is a to match object. Yeah. Match object basically says we have a big object and here's a subset. So you see this one has bath true in both of them, but house for sale has more information than our desired house does. And so that's when you want to say, we expect this big object to match the properties on our subset, which is what I was going to do. But the problem is that even though this is the big object here, you can see the author is an object itself, not just the username. It's called tag list instead of tags. And then there is no date. It's the created and updated at. So instead what we'll do is we're just going to go property by property. So we're going to expect article details to have property. And if we come back over here, to have property. Hopefully this works. So you pass in the property that it should have plus the value you expect it to have. So we're going to say that it should have property author and it's going to be article response dot author dot username, which matches author username. And honestly, we don't have to do that. We really could do profile dot username, and I think I'm going to do that instead. Use the profile username because it does sort of validate that this article was created correctly. Because if it used the wrong username, then that would show there. So that's the first one. The next one, it should have a date. Oop. We're going to skip that for now because it's a little bit complicated, but I am going to show the format. Yeah, so we're going to skip that for now, but we'll come back to it. Should have the title. This one's a very easy match because they both have the title. Should have the description. Do I have a description? I do. Same thing. And then to have property tags equal to my tags list. Let's go ahead and run that and make sure all those assertions work. And then we're going to take a look at that date. That was more magnesium. You have to take 4 pills of it. And I don't like taking 4 pills all at once. I didn't like something. Expected blank to have property author. Okay. Expected article details to have property author profile.username. No? Article details. Did that not? I don't know what happened there. Try it again. I commented out the assertions, just so you know, because it was taking too long for it to fail. So okay, it does have that. Well, then what's wrong? Article details to have property. I know what's wrong. That's not... Okay. Watch this. Watch this for a minute. We're gonna go to... Where are they? The API page. And under expect, there is a to have property. And the problem is, this is the assertion that is being run. So the expect Webdriverio has a custom assertion called to have property that overwrites the expect JS to have property command. Okay. That's a known bug. And I think they are working on fixing that. You know, I could commit to fixing it, but I have plenty of things to do already. Come on. Okay, issues. Yes. Look. We can save built-in matches before overriding them. Yeah. So it just needs to be fixed. Yeah, that's a problem. Hopefully that'll be fixed soon. So what else can we do? We can do... Yes, what we can do is instead of to have property, we'll just do article details dot author to equal, and that should basically do the same thing. I like to have property better, but we're going to go with this. The reason I like it better is that it should give you a better error message. Basically, instead of comparing two things to be equal, you're comparing an object to have a specific property, so that you know that it's looking at the property itself. So let's go back to here. I'm going to update these. Take that out. Come over here, paste those in, and now run that again. And that should work. We can comment that out. And the last bit is we're going to do this. So there is a date format npm.js library, but I don't want to install it. alternatively, Node.js format date. I think what we can do is date formatting has gotten a little bit better. Hey, Himio. Good to have you out here. There's two ISO string. See, there's that date format library. That's a pretty good library, but I swear, yes. Oh, no. To locale string. Man. How am I doing? Well, I don't know if you just joined, but it was a mess of a start to the stream. Basically, my computer just refused to do anything. Was running super slow, super laggy, super jumpy. And yeah, wasn't great, but it's gotten better since then. Okay. Can you make a custom request? Yes, sure thing. Man. So yeah, I want to, the easier answer is just install date format, but I want to avoid installing anything else. Oh, and our test passed, good. So const formatted date is equal to oh, you like the so customer request of streaming to the time that I did last week, which was, for me, it was Friday night at 9 p.m. I can consider it. Do you like how it was a good time for you? The problem for me is I am so exhausted Friday night by 9 p.m. But yeah, it is still pretty early. Or it's still late for you, even though I'm doing it earlier. Maybe so 12:30 right now in India. It's 2 o'clock here. 11:30, 10:30. So if I started at noon, that would be 10:30 for you. If I started at 11 a.m., that'd be 9:30. So what if I did it 3 hours earlier than right now? Would that be a good time for you if I started, basically take the current time for you right now and be 3 hours earlier than that? Because it's hard for me to do Friday nights. It's just, yeah. Yeah. Need all the information or all the motivation to wake up as possible. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to get the I want to convert this to a date object. So I'm going to run node. I don't know if you know, but you can just type in node and you have a interactive terminal, new date, where you can just run JavaScript stuff. Date, and it's helpful just for running random things. Okay, good. Perfect. So now I could do created date.getMonth. There we go. And see how it's 7? That's because it's 0 indexed. There's also, okay, so now I gotta remember what is in a date. Let's go, there's that date format again. ToString, I don't want that, I don't want that. Let's just try and get away with using what's built in. So I'm actually going to go to the Mozilla date function page. There's got to be a month name or something. Month. Get month. Month. Oh. That's annoying. Next week, can you make a basic test with page object model like industry level project? I mean, I've kind of got that going on right now with my profile page. This is a basic one, but I could step through it, kind of the basics of page objects. I'm really hoping to get this book converted to a video course, because that's half the book is talking about how to do page objects, and the more and more complex page objects further and further down the road. So this is kind of the summation of all that work. So yeah, one thing I could possibly do is take the chapter where I introduce page objects and just run through it. I wouldn't mind doing that. Okay. So the problem is we need the name August. Okay. I'm gonna search for months. Year array JavaScript. I don't want to type out all the months of the year. I just want a array of it. Bam, right there. And I'm going to come back here. Whoops. Oh, man. I am not crazy about this solution, but I also don't like the formatting. Whoops. Okay, months. What is the plan on my 6-week course? I didn't get the results I wanted, which was at least one person saying that they would pay for it. I might still do it for free. So the problem I'm faced with right now is I've got this book that I'm almost done with. It required a few rewrites to some major content in it. So I don't want to start making the videos until I know that all the content is good. So I was going to do a 6-week run through of the book with people so that I can basically hold myself accountable to making sure that all the content is good and in place before actually spending the effort to make the good videos. The trouble is I need some cash to afford to spend the time to do that. And yeah, that is kind of what I'm running up against. But I may still do it because it's still useful for me to have that, and people could get some use out of it as well. I would definitely learn a lot about the material and what's really resonating with people and what needs more clarification. So that could be super helpful. Yeah. Okay, back to this. What I've got going on is I want to get the date of the month from here. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this as a string interpolation. I also wanted to know, do I know about contract testing? I'm not sure what you mean there. You could explain that. August, and then create a date.get day. That's not right. Like doing there. I swear I've heard of contract testing, but I don't know what it is. Or is it just doing testing as a contractor? So I definitely know about that. Let's see what get date does. Day of the month. That's what I wanted. Date. Oh, day must be day of the week. Okay. So do another created date dot get date, comma, Webdriver is looking great for future proof. I do have a great audience. You are right. You people are awesome. Much, much appreciated. By the way, don't ever use, did you see that? Always use get full year. Don't use the thumbs down get year, because it suffers from the Y2K bug, I think, which doesn't make any sense because JavaScript was written in 1996, so they should have seen that. Yeah, it suffers from Y2K because it doesn't return full years. So watch. See, the year is 120 instead of 2020. So yeah, don't use get year. Isn't that hilarious? That I just find that funny to me. Okay, now we're gonna come back and do dot date to equal our formatted date. So yeah, this little node is really helpful for when you want to run just a little bit of JavaScript. You could also go to your browser and do inspect and run it through the console if you wanted, but I like doing it through there because then at least I know that it works in Node and not just in the browser. So contract testing is like a contract between a service and provider HTTP endpoint. Better than integration tests. So that's kind of almost like API testing, but the idea is the service says that it's going to, like here, when I ask to, well, that didn't work. Okay. So I have an API here. When I create a profile, it posts to this endpoint with the profile. And so the contract that you're testing is if I pass in a specific profile data here, it's going to look for the property email, look for the property password, look for the property username. Same thing with the article details. And then it's also going to respond with a certain thing. So I haven't done too much contract testing, but it certainly is very useful when you're working with like a third-party service, because that can definitely break the website is if the third-party service changes what they're expecting to receive or what they return, and your website isn't built to adapt to that. It will completely break the website, and that would not be good. Yeah. Okay, why did you fail? I have a feeling, why would... It got August. No, it didn't get August. It got undefined. So I have a feeling this broke. Because it's not article details. I needed article response. There we go. So basically this was returning an undefined, which wasn't creating the date, and then all this stuff was failing. Try running this again. Okay, so basically we mock out provider side HTTPS endpoint and use mock server provided by that contract. Later we will run consumer side test on mock provider service by Pact. Pact is a tool. Yeah, that is a that's a good thing to do. Is say I wanted to have this profile page, and I wanted to, like, as a developer, I want to build out the profile page. And if you look at the network, if I refresh the page, looks like our test is passing. While that's running, while I'm talking about that, I'm going to do that. And let's run our first one. We did that. Yeah. Oh, we need to also switch tabs. And again, do that last bit. Let's come back here. Oops. Okay. If we look at this request, oh, don't be like that. There. The response comes back with this JSON string, or the not JSON string, but a JSON response with all the details in it. So if you you're building a site and the API isn't built out yet, or you need some third-party API and they haven't got it all running, you can basically fake this response by setting up your own dummy server or using a tool that injects it. So it's useful for getting started with development. The trouble is, because you're not using the actual service, if they change how that service is going to return the response data, then your site's going to break because it's not expecting that. It's expecting it in a different format. So then so Pact is the tool. We generate the Pact file on the consumer side in JSON with the expected result from the provider side, and we mentioned provider. Then it's rerun on the provider side and verify that it's correct. Interesting. So wondering if we can have that on this stream. Pact and contract testing APIs and mocking. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can look in, get that on a stream one day. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I do think it's definitely interesting, and it is part of front-end testing in that the front end deals with the API a lot. So yeah, last bit. We're gonna switch the tabs and run all this again. And I think what I'm gonna do, since we are gonna be checking all this stuff again, I'm gonna move this into a function. Function get formatted date created that way we can reuse it. Okay, that's good. Oh shoot, what was that? There we go. There. Now we are going to switch the tab. Profiles.feeds dot click tab. Oops. Click the favorited articles. Oh, you know, I said that, but I'm realizing now there is no article in this tab. Thanks. Those are very kind things for you to say. I appreciate it. We're going to just validate that. Uh-oh. Why'd you do that? What did you do? It kicked me off of my live stream page. So I can't see anything in chat. There. Okay, I'm back. We're going to click the favorited articles. Then we are going to feed, article loading, articles. Expect that. Have 0 children. And I want to test that it says no articles here yet. How do I get that? Let's inspect this. Oh, it does have one. So this is going to fail. Article preview. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get current feed the articles. The first item to have text of that. Let's see how that goes. Have I heard about screenshot testing? Oh, that's what got me started with this way back when. I used to, so I was a front-end developer to start with, and I wanted to test my CSS. It was really frustrating that I'd be working on a site and the CSS would break all the time. And this was 2010, 2012-ish. And so we were still dealing with IE7 and IE8. And you'd have to do a lot of different hacks. So I wanted a way to... I had gotten into JavaScript unit testing. Of course, this is going to take too long. I'd gotten into JavaScript unit testing, and I thought, man, it'd be cool if we could do CSS unit testing. And I ran across a tool called, there was Webdriver CSS, and then there was another one. I can't remember what it was called. There was also like Gemini, and what it was visual testing. So it would take a screenshot of an element or the page and then compare it over time. And Webdriver CSS, if you're not familiar, I think was back when it was Webdriverio version 2 or 3. I bet it was 2 was when Webdriver CSS was around, and version 3 had Webdriver CSS as well, and then it was the Webdriver Visual Regression Service, maybe something like that. But from learning about Webdriver CSS, I learned about Webdriverio and got super interested in that. And yeah, that's what started me down this path, was trying to do screenshot testing. What I've learned about screenshot testing is that it's a very simple concept, but it's really difficult to do because you have if you have the problem that between browsers, and even the same browser on different machine, the rendering can be slightly off. Okay, what I was saying is, sorry if that just blasted your ears. Oh man. On my microphone, if I pull this wire, it pulls it out, and I just did that. Okay. Hopefully that's better. I don't know where I dropped off. Hold on, I'm gonna... There. Oh, fun. I thought I was done with my technical issues. So this last one, expected blank to have text. Well, let's see. Let's log that out. And then I'm gonna do a browser debug and run this. Glad you mentioned that because, ugh, audio issues. Run my test, and then I'll be done with this. And I only have to go back and redo an example that I had done. Now I don't have done because I completely rewrote that section. Okay, so that's good. It's returning undefined. Oh. Oh, data QA type article preview. Well, oh, it only has a class of article preview. Here's what we can do. Is I'm gonna do get no articles text. Turn this dot origin dot $ equals no articles are here yet, and that's a div. And we are going to articles to have children of 0. So there we go. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you chatting with, and I'll try to get a couple of those items done. And I'll think about doing it on the other night, but I should at least do it. I'll start at like 11 a.m. my time, so it should be, I think, 9:30, 9 or 9:30 your time. But get some sleep. Okay. The last bit is current feed.no to articles text to be existing. And run that. If you're not familiar, this is a text-based selector. So you can pass in text, and Webdriverio will find the div that matches that text. So it's pretty neat. I use it every once in a while. I spilled tea on myself. Why am I so messy? Whoa. Every time that I go to like a greater than or equals, no. Every time I go to like a coffee shop and run this automation stuff, I feel like people think that I'm hacking or that I'm like trying to break the system. What do you mean? That was supposed to be 0. Oh. That needs to be that. Let's try running that again. And in the meantime, I'm going to open up my book notes. Weird. Oh, I see. Oh, is that waiting? Expected to have children. I think I'm just... I guess my assertion... What was it? To have children. Zero. I thought that would check for it, but let's search for length. Yeah, I'll do that instead. To have length of 0. Looks like it doesn't handle a length that's too short. Man, I keep doing that. Run, 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 run. Just so you know, this is the book, and I had gone through a whole bunch of stuff, and at the end I had this exercise here. That's what I'm working on, is this last exercise. Oh, it was so close. No articles text. Ah, got that wrong. So yeah, what I'm at the end of each of these chapters, I have a kind of challenge, and I bumped it again. Okay, it's still recording. I have a challenge, and the challenge here is create a set of tests for the user profile page. And then at the end of all of it, I wanted to just show how I built everything out. Here, add our test. Make it a little bit more complicated to include. So I'll throw that back in here. Created date. Okay, there we go, it passed. Good, so I'm going to copy that over. Here. I'm going to create a new what's all this? I see. I don't know why I have my headphones on. I haven't been listening to music at all. There's no point in having them on. I had music on earlier, but then I turned it off and I had my headphones on. Now we'll create a profile test file called our article, then run our test. So I had this separated out, but there really is no point in doing that because it's not like that I talk about it at all. I'm just going to, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to paste it here so that it is at least all together. Yeah. And I'm going to leave it at that. Not much else to do there. Great. Okay, I'm done with that. So let's run through this one more time because this has been several streams in a row that I've done this. This is the user profile page. We're going to define some variables at the top that we're going to use between our before function and our other functions. So like here we have we're using what's defined here. So I define that outside of the before function so that I can use them in my other functions. The next thing I do is I have a before hook. I create a profile object. I send that profile object to my API, which creates a profile. I create an article object. I send that article and the profile to create an article for that user. I log in as another user. I could be the same user if I wanted it to be. It doesn't really matter. Actually, it does matter because I want to be able to follow and unfollow. So I log in as another user. Then I create a profile page based off of the user that I generated. I load the profile page. And then once all my tests are run, I will delete that article, but not the profile. I think I could delete no, I can't delete the profile. It's not possible in this website. It doesn't have the functionality to delete a profile. So if it did, I would delete the profile as well. But I do want to delete the article because that can clog up the homepage. The first test is just that it shows the username at the top of the page. So basic test here. It allows you to follow and unfollow the user. So we check this button here. And we check that it says follow the user, click it. Now it says unfollow, click it again, and now it should say follow. Then this test that we just spent this entire time writing was that it should show my articles and favorited articles with correct content. So I check that the tabs are correct. I check that the only active tab is the My Articles tab. I check that I have the one article that I created. I get the details of that article, format the date, and then go through one by one and validate that all matches. I switch tabs to the favorited articles. I check that there are no articles favorited and that the text is the no articles text. And that reminds me, I need to come in here. What was that in? That was in feed. Feeds. Replace it on the other ones. So up here, somewhere in here, I create this feed. And the search really stinks on this software, so it's hard to find it. Maybe it's in here. Yeah. That's the article loading indicator. Let's see where I add it. Article loading indicator. So it used to be in home. We moved it to the feed. Yeah. I guess I'll just mention it. Down here. Create the profile. Now that we create Need to call the API. That's all in here. We need to make one small update. Okay. We need to make one small update to the profile.page.js page object. No. Feed.page page object. Make one small update. Element reference for the text that shows if no articles are available, i.e. whatever that is. One thing that I wish I could do with this is I want to show the entire file because I think that's really helpful. But I also want to highlight this no articles text line. And yeah, I can't do both. Page object slash component slash feed.component.js. Is that what it's called? No, just feed.js. And page object components feed.js. An element reference for the text that shows. We'll use a text-based selector to match the div with that text. Code will be. Here's what the full file looks like. Okay, that is that. That was a super long exercise. They usually don't go that long. The other thing I have to do now is, I'll scroll down. Yeah, here. I changed from using chai.js to using this node, or sorry, the Webdriver.io assertion library. And now that I have that in place, I no longer have the exercise that I had planned. So that's no good. I need to come up with another exercise. I could do something as simple as write a test. Homepage. Let's do this. This will be pretty quick. Man, I don't know. How useful is that? Assertions. So this chapter covers writing a basic test and then writing some assertions. 2 have title, 2 have URL. So what is another? 2 have title, 2 have URL. Oh, that's just the browser. I could write, or just have a very basic demo, sorry, not demo, exercise that says click on. So what it currently does, it clicks on, oh, I gotta be logged out, log out. Click on the sign in button, validate that you're on the login page. Could say click on the sign up button and validate that you're on the register page. Is that useful? I don't know. I don't think it is. That's the problem. So I don't know how to have a test that is useful enough, but also not too complicated. I could say write an assertion that validates that this heading and subheading are there. Ooh, I could say add an assertion that says when you click on the conduit logo in the top left, that it takes you back to the home page. Okay, let's do that. Add a new in your existing test. What do I want to say? Add a check that validates that when you click on the conduit logo, the top left of the site, it returns you to the home page. There we go. Okay, that's good. I like that. Gets you thinking a little bit about how you have to click it and then what you're going to do for your assertion. So what do? We start this test from the login page. We start this challenge in our test. In test we're adding to, we're on the login page. We need to click that logo, which can be done okay, so trouble is I need to make this kind of very basic, and oh man, jumping all around. Here, I haven't gotten into selectors yet. That's the next chapter, is all these selectors. I have talked about the most basic selector, which if you see is the equal sign. And what I'm curious about is this is a link with conduit. This is also a link with conduit. So if I use this sort of selector, it could match both, but because it's going to match the first one on the page, which is going to be in the header. So I think we're fine there. I'll use that. So back to my solution. In the test, we're on the login. Now we need to click that logo, which will be done using the link text selector, like we used for the sign up button. So $ equals conduit. Whoops. Oh. This does need to be lowercase because that's how it is on the page itself. Let me validate this. Test specs, navigation. There we go. Conduit.click. And then, actually, I'll just do, and we're going to do not to have URL login. Why are you weird? Oh. Whoops. There we go. Now I can run navigation.js, which hopefully will be pretty quick. Ooh, I'm over the 2-hour mark. Well, if you're watching on replay, I'm impressed that you've stuck around for so long. I hope you do have me on higher speed, so that I'm talking a lot faster. And then if I talk like this, it's super fast because you have me in higher speed because I normally don't talk that fast. Hey, it worked. So it did click. What happens if I do a capital C? Let's see. I had a dumb joke there. See if the capital C matters. Okay, let's do this and then be done. I think that's all my exercises that I needed to do. I might need to rework 1 or 2 others, but I don't think so. Okay, click sign in and it cannot find it. As you can see, it's trying to click it, but it can't find it. So it does need to be lowercase. Perfect. And there we go. I didn't talk about not, did I? It does need to be lowercase because that's how it's on the page itself. Next, we want to write our assertion. The page title doesn't actually change between pages, so that's not a good option. We could still be on the sign up page and it would pass since the title for that page is the same as the home page. Instead, I don't remember to have, so I did used to have the full URL in there, and then we changed it to use containing. And then where did I talk about? Yes, the not. So I do talk about not already. Okay. Instead, we'll just validate that we're no longer on the login URL by using the my stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Great. I tried using 4,500 kilobytes per second and it killed my computer. Not flip in our assertion. All together our test updated file looks like so. test/spec/navigation.js. Perfect. Love it. Perfect. Okay, selectors is done. Waiting another way is done. Registration done. That's done. That's done. Done. I think I'm done with all my stuff. I'm gonna have to go through real quick. You really don't need to be watching at this point. There's not much else to do. It's kind of boring stuff. Manage user sessions. Good. I'm just going through each chapter and scrolling to the bottom to see if I put a to-do item in place. And I do, but that's a different to-do item. And probably something I'm not going to get to. Ow! Oh, my leg cramped again. It's still cramping. Oh, this is what I get for exercising. Why did I exercise? Ow. Things are looking pretty good. Ow. It's still cramping. Okay, I've done all my exercises. Yay. That's done. Okay, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you all for watching, and I appreciate it. If you stuck around this entire time, thanks for your great questions. Leave comments on the comment section if you're watching this after the live stream is done, with ideas for what to cover next time or any future time. And until next time, have fun testing.